review. The first part of the test is just solving equations again. So okay, so these first ones are just some one-step equations. Everyone put their iPads away. Remember, when you're solving equations, you need to get the letter by itself. So you got to get rid of this.
Move it over.
You move it over.
It'd be +7.
So you want to get rid of it. Now remember, when they're on opposite sides, you do the opposite. You want to get this 7 over with that 10. So to get rid of it, you do the opposite. You add 7. Whatever you do to one side, you do to the other. And that would be -3 equals x. And you're done. This one, if you go too quick, some people see this minus and they think add. But remember, they're up against each other, so you got to do the opposite. You got to divide by -1.6. Negatives would cancel, you'd get 2. Y divided by 2.1, so you do the opposite, you multiply it by 2.1.
6.1.
6 point what? 3.
6.8.
Yep, -6.3. Then we got some two-step equations. There's the x. So the rule is the same no matter what you're doing, if it's the formulas or the equations. You get rid of any terms that are not hooked onto that x first. Anything hooked to it gets rid of last. So since it's a minus, you do the opposite. You add 7 to get rid of it, and that would give you 18. Then divide by 6, and you get 3. So those should be pretty simple.
Take the scissors and go in this top.
You can do that to me.
No, I'm done.
Okay, please don't do that to me.
I don't do that to my friends.
You have friends? That's good news.
One's name's Johnny and the other name's Sydney.
I just have balls.
Sydney?
You'll never know. I actually meant to say Sydney. That's my name.
Yeah. You mean Sydney?
Did you want
No, it's Sydney.
Okay? Shh, quiet. So, when you're solving these now, there's x's on each side of the equation. The whole idea is to get the letter by itself on one side or the other. You got to get them all together first, though. So you got to get these two together. They're on opposite sides, so you would do the opposite. It doesn't matter which way you move them, but it's quicker if you move this one over here because then the plain old number is by itself. So to get rid of this, you do the opposite, you minus 2x. So you do the same thing to the other side, and you get -8x equals 24. Now it's a one-step. You just divide by -8, and you get -3. These types, everyone know the first thing you got to do?
Multiply.
Multiply. You got to distribute this through. Anytime you see a number up against the parentheses, you're going to have to multiply it through. So this will just stay the same on this side. Take the 2 times the y. The 2 times the -1 is -2. Make sure you get the signs right. So, we've got to get these y's together and these numbers together. So it doesn't matter again which way I move it. This time I'll move this way. So if I want to get rid of this 4y, negative 4y on this side, you do the opposite. You add 4y to get rid of it. Do the same to the other side, to the other y. And that's 6y. So now what do you do? Yep. You want to get the non-y's to the opposite side. So since I want to get that out of there to the other side, you do the opposite of minus, you add 2, and what do you get? 0. Now sometimes people say there's no solution. There is a solution. 6 times what equals 0? 0. Because if you solve this, you divide by 6, and you'd get 0. Remember, 0 can be an answer. So here, you'd have to distribute the 2 through. So that would be 2x, 2 times x, 2 times positive 5 is positive 10, equals, now this is the one where people mess up on signs. Shh, quiet. Negative 3 times positive 4 is negative 12x. Negative times negative is positive 6, right. So, we've got to get this over here, or you could bring the 2x over, it doesn't matter. So since I want to move that out of there, it's a minus, so you add 12x to get rid of it. Do the same to the other x, and you get 14x. So since I got the x's on this side, get the non-x's to this side. So you'd subtract 10. Subtract 10, and we get negative 4. So then when we divide by negative, or 14, this is an odd fraction, so you'd get a long decimal. So you could just leave it like that. What does negative 4/14 reduce to?
2 7.
Negative 2 7s. Okay, then we get to the ones where you have to solve for y.
This turned around. In a chair. This is weird.
Okay, solving for y. Shh, quiet. Solving for y, does everyone know what that means to do?
Get the y by itself.
Get the y by itself. So, you use the same rules as doing regular equations. You want to keep this here and get rid of anything else that's on the other side, or on the same side. So, to move this, it's not attached to the y, so anytime something's not attached, you just move it across and change the sign. So this just moves over here, and you're left with y equals 10. These two don't change because I didn't move them. This changes from plus to minus 2x, and you're done. You got the y by itself. Okay? Quit. To get this y by itself, what do you move first?
So 4x.
Right, anything not attached to it, you move first. So, this stays negative 3y, this stays 6, this changes from plus to minus 4x. Now you have one more thing to do. Divide by negative 3, and you just divide the whole thing by negative 3 and you're done. Y equals 6 minus 4x minus over negative 3. Okay? Here, the y is on this side. The 2x is not attached, so all I got to do is move it over. The 2 is just staying there. This would change from plus to minus 2x equals negative y. Now everyone know what to do when the y is still negative?
Make it positive.
Change all the signs. Negative 2 plus 2x equals positive y. Here, this is just one step, even though there's a fraction in there. This is an easy one, because to get the y by itself, all I gotta do is move this over.
So is it negative?
So the y stays there, the 6 stays there. This changes from positive to minus 2/3 x. See, these look like they're getting more complicated, but they're the easiest problems to do, because that's all you gotta do is move a couple things around. Here, there's the y. So I gotta get rid of this first, because it's not attached to the y. So the 1/5 y stays there. The 7 stays there. I move this over, changes from plus to minus. Now, what do you do when it's 1/5 times 1? Take it times the reciprocal, 5. Now, since there's two things here, you could do it one of two ways. You could just take the whole thing by 5 like that. Just like here, we divided the whole thing by -3. So you could leave it like that, or you could just take each thing times 5 right away. So to take the 5 times the 7, and then the 5 times the -3x. You could read that or that. They're both correct because they both have the y's all by themselves.
What if you don't put parentheses?
Yeah, if you would get it wrong because you got to take both sides times 5. So you'd have to put parentheses to show that you're taking the whole side times 5. Okay, then we have some formulas, just like the assignment we just corrected.
It makes you feel, if you go like this really fast, it makes you feel like your fingers are on glass. Like pushing up against glass. Maybe that's just me. No, not like sharp glass, like flat. Like your fingers are on the window. When you do it. You can't do it. I love that.
It feels like it was touch one another.
Okay.
Yeah, I feel it.
How's the letters?
Yeah.
You know what to do.
Yeah,
I don't think I do.
I think mine if you feel
Okay. To solve the equation, for, on the test it says the letter in bold, but I made these the ones in red.
you do plus 6.2.
Yes, here all you got to do to get the y by itself is get rid of this term, it's not attached to it, so you just move it across. The x doesn't move, so it just stays that. I move this so it changes to plus 6.2t equals y, and you're done. Here to get the p by itself, can do it in one step.
By N, K.
Divide by
N, K.
n, that's supposed to be an r,
Yeah.
Divide by NR.
and you're done. AV divided by NR equals P. Here to get the C by itself,
You
move the X over,
and change the signs.
so it'd be A minus X
Equals C.
equals negative C.
So you plus that.
So change all the signs. So it'd be negative A plus X equals C.
Yay. ER was a K.
Oh.
It was supposed to be an R. Did you?
Okay, for this one, quiet. Another simple one.
Plus 2.
All we gotta do is move the 2 over, and it'd be Y plus 2 equals P. Okay, that's really it for the test.
And then words.
Huh?
And then like words.